Today we are in the wild frontier that is my back garden. The reason for this is the sake of experiment. Worst case scenario is that I've ruined my cook set, dent my pride, but we all learn a little something. Best case scenario is we successfully manage to pull off cooking a Sunday roast with the trimmings on nothing but the Trangia Triangle. Even if everything I make today gets ruined or doesn't go to plan, what I'm hoping to do is learn something. So this is an experiment. Obviously I don't want to take all of this out with me and suddenly realise that it's not going to work and I'm really hungry and I've been walking all day. It might not be that you'll ever dream of doing anything like this, but it helps to learn the limitations of your cook set. So I've cleaned the pans after the fiasco with the Yorkshire puddings. Now with the simmering off, we're going to get a nice strong flame from the Trangia. Put our pot on, and I'm going to add some cauliflower, and what I've done with the cauliflower is make sure that the florets are really small. Put them into the pot. I'm going to add just enough water to cover them. We're going to get that boiling, and then we're going to add our bechamel sauce mix. You can buy this in packets, I think, but I made this one myself. I'll do another video on the recipe. It's really easy. It's dried mashed potatoes, cheese powder, parsley, chives, a little bit of garlic, salt, pepper. So the cauliflower's been brought up to the boil and has been going for about 4 or 5 minutes. I like my cauliflower not too soft but not too al dente, not too crunchy, so just test it with a knife, and it's falling right off now, but I can feel there's just a little bit of a bite to it, so that's perfect for me. So now what we're going to do is make our bechamel sauce, and then I'm going to take this off the flame and then put the simmering on quite low and put that over the flame. Then get my spork ready, and before you prep this, I was in a rush today, but just that you can sieve this into the Ziploc bags and that gets rid of all the lumps, and you'll be doing yourself a massive favour there. So now what I'm going to do is add this into the water just over the top like that, and then just stir it in, really thoroughly stir it in. Get rid of any lumps. If you don't like it as thick, just add a bit of water, and as it cooks it will get thicker. It's easier to make things thinner than it is thicker again, so just get tiny bits and stir it in. Put the lid back on and just wait a few minutes. So the Ziploc bag that we bought the bechamel sauce in, and again that will just keep it cooking a little bit longer, so you can undercook this, and also it's just going to keep it out of your way. With the Trangia Triangle, what I'm going to do is use these little feet here for the pan, and because I don't have a clip-on billy can lid or anything like that, I'm going to use these for this feet here just to keep it at an angle. Any juices then will stay in the pan, and then I can open it from time to time, regulating how much liquid's in there, and then maybe even use that towards the gravy. So this pan is going to be the lid, and that's just going to sit on like that. I'm hoping that that will be enough for the heat to stay in. So I'm going to prep the meat now and put it in, get it going. Pour some olive oil in my pan, in my pot, and then make sure it's all coated. Don't want too much. Right up to the rim. So simmering, just to keep it warm. Yep, that's really bloody hot. What I'm going to do is going to put the potatoes and onion in with the beef. It's 500 grams of beef, so I want it medium rare, so I'm looking at doing 22-ish minutes per 500 grams. It is 500 grams of meat, so 22 minutes plus 22 minutes. So I'm going to say 45 minutes from when I put it in and I'm happy with the heat. Then about 20 minutes before the end, I'm going to put the remaining vegetables in. Hopefully, we'll have something that resembles a nice cut of roast beef. So just starting to smoke now, it's hot to the touch. I'll put in the veg. Beef goes in, we'll spread the veg a little bit around the edges of the meat. And now we put it back on there. Actually, we're going to use that. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Yeah, and hopefully you can hear that sizzling away. And what I want to do at the start is when I hear it sizzling, and you can smell it's actually really nice. So I just want to turn it a bit more. And the sizzling slows down. When that builds up to roughly what it was, I'll turn it again. And then when I'm sure it's all gone one full circle, keep checking it periodically. Now, let's see what's happening. Oh, it smells amazing. Starting to brown on all sides now. Okay, I'm excited about this. Give it another turn. I'll come back in another 5 minutes. It's been going for about 20 minutes now. So I've stopped turning it because you can see there's a lot of juice building now, which is really good news. It means that I can put a bit more heat on the flame. So I've opened up the simmering, starting to get a nice texture. I'm just going to pop the rest of the veg in now. Just slide them in where there's a gap. That's 20 minutes down, 20 minutes to go. Actually now the juice is starting to drip out there and I want to save all of that. So I'm just going to crack it open a little bit, drain out the juice, not all of it, fix the lid back on, put it back. And this is going to be an integral part of our gravy. So what I do is I end up looking at where I want to finish. So in this case, it is a roast with me looking happy. Then obviously I'll scan that out, working back towards the beginning of that journey and how I want it to look. And then I'll come out into the garden and test it out, and this time I thought I'd show you, because so many times on YouTube, on any channel, you only get the polished version, which is what, you know, it's great, it's what we want to show ourselves as. But what I'm going to share any mistakes I make here, go 100%, and if you only get 90% of that, it's still a good meal. If you get 80%, it's a fine meal. If you get 60, 50%, then you need to look at what works and then what you can use it with. So what I've done now is, rather than opening it all the time, as part of the experiment, I've worked out that I can actually open the handle slightly on my mug, and now we are catching all of the drips as they occur. So now I can just fully leave it alone, and that only took me 35 minutes to work out. So that's coming up to 45 minutes now. I'm gonna see how it's faring. Oh, that looks amazing, smells amazing. Parsnips are done, potatoes are done, carrots are done. So let's try it out. And now the tricky bit of removing it, which I think is just going to be a firm whack into the pan lid. Oh. So one thing I think you'll need if you're planning on doing this on the trail is I've got my cook set. Usually what I do is I eat from the pot or the pan depending on what I'm doing. But I think you might need a secondary plate for this, because ideally I'd like to cover that now. But anyway, enough faffing. Let's check out this. See how well we've done here. Well, it's certainly cooked. Lovely and tender. Nice soft texture. Really succulent. The juices as it cooked would have helped with that. That tastes pretty amazing. Remove the simmering. Put that on there. Add the stock. get that boiling. What I've also got is some gravy granules. And I've put some dried onions and garlic in there as well. I'm just going to stir it up. So the gravy doesn't take long at this stage. You keep stirring it, get rid of the powder. I like really thick gravy. So the next pot is going to be, well, quite messy, but it's part of the fun of cooking, isn't it? So we're going to get our flame, I'm going to keep simmering like that. We're going to get our pot, and remember we got these by earlier, still quite warm actually. You can probably even keep the insulation properties by wrapping it in something. If you've got a pan insulator, you can put it in that for a while, but we're just going to pour this into there and bring it back up to heat. So we're going to get this bubbling again, but we want to get it really hot now, so keeping the simmering where it is. But I'm going to put the lid on. Or even better, we've got the gravy in our pan. I'm going to use that as a lid, which will heat this up a little bit. So we're going to wait for that to get bubbling, and then we're going to use the sauces, because the meal is still a bit, it's started to cool down quite quickly because it's quite cold, which is a shame because you want it served really hot. But if we can get away with heating it up with the sauces, that'd be perfect. No reason to drop presentation just because you're out on the trail. Excuse the fingers. So I can hear that's bubbling away. That is lovely. And now I'm going to whop that on the plate. Then it's going to go straight back on. You're going to add the gravy. You saw me collecting the stock throughout, which gives it an edge. I also put probably a heaped tablespoon of dried onions, a little bit of dried garlic, and some chives and some parsley, I think. Then we'll come back and see what we've got. So we've really got this gravy boiling now, like really bubbling. And now, of course, it's the only thing left to do. That's really hot gravy. I'm going to start by pouring it all over the meat, around to the veg. That is my attempt at roast beef cooked on nothing but the Trangia. So please let me know what you think. Please let me know how I can improve this. There's got to be something I'm missing. I'm really keen on making sure that I get it perfect for the next time. Cheers.